Where you fight, anger is your biggest tool. Fighting angry, that drains you twice as fast. Yeah, the guy in the ring is your enemy, but if all you're trying to do is kill him, then you expose yourself. You leave yourself vulnerable. God protects yourself. Make his mistakes be his destruction.
Nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on the extent of its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die. See, that's powerful. The world has a strange way of stepping aside when somebody says, I'll do it or die. The man says, I will climb the mountain. They've told me it's too high, it's too far, it's too rocky, it's too difficult, it's never been done before, but it's my mountain, I will climb it. Pretty soon you'll see me waving from the top. Or dead on the side, because I ain't coming back.
The idea that working hard doesn't make progress is one of the biggest farces that exists in humanity, because at the end of the day, whatever you amount to isn't going to matter anyways, right? And so if there is anything that's eternal for us, at least as individuals, it's going to be who we become in the process. And so one of my favorite quotes is, the work works on you more than you work on it. And so if you want to be the best in the world at something, you do the work to become the best in the world, and the work works on you.
Your dreams and thoughts better be so big that they better scare you. They better scare you.
Why?
Because you're not thinking big enough then. You don't want it. It has to be something that nobody else has thought about before or done before. The process it takes to be number one and stay at number one, you have no idea. You have an idea because you've been there. Everybody wants to sit in your seat until they have to sit in your seat. Very few people understand what winning and success does to an individual's mental health.
Pinpoint what I want to do with my life. What happens is you have all these voices that are telling you you're up and this is gonna be hard, but for some reason, you put so much practice into you that you can ignore every one of them that are telling you you're not gonna make it, and still be able to fucking make it. Because you have put the practice in that you know this is the process. It's such a daunting task that all the voices are saying no. But you still have the conviction that I know I can do this.
When your belief is that strong, that's why you become a student of the game first. Student of the game with the belief that you can win this. You apply your brain first to the activity physically. That way every physical activity has a result. And you are achieving your goals, knowing you're getting knocked down in the process of greatness. That's how you build it up. It's just like steel in the world. There's strong steels and there's weak steels. What makes a piece of steel stronger than another piece is because it's hammered in. The threshold, the pain, the tensile strength of it is hammered and hammered and hammered. It's used to all that bearing, hammer, so it becomes tougher and tougher and tougher. Our body's the same way. It's like a piece of steel. The harder we work it, the harder it gets. You know that going into it. You welcome it. So when you feel the pain, you know you're just hammering in yourself into a stronger end state.
You know, I've tried to talk in ways where I don't have doubt. I've tried to everything, and there's always just lingering doubt in my mind of being like, well, fuck, what if you don't? What if you can't? And it's just the truth of my mind. And regardless of that, over the past 5 years, I've still been able to perform, progress, and be the best in the world with that on my mind. So who's to say that I can't have that doubt on my mind while being a champion? There's no rules to it. That's why I've always said the champion mentality, the rules of being a champion, is that there are no rules. It's just whatever the champion does to win. That's it.
Life will not always be 70 and sunny. Life is the ultimate competitor. It's relentless. It will continue to attack you when you least expect it. We must learn to adapt and overcome to any and all obstacles that are in front of us. We have to evolve. And the way I evolved was I changed my diet. Had to start doing a lot more cross training. When the obstacle gets in front of you, don't let it stop you. Don't let it deter you. get around that motherfucker.
You might be at the top of their mountain. And so they are tearing you down because now you remind them that they haven't done it. And it's purely a projection of them onto you and has nothing to do with you. And that, I hope that that comforts someone. Because what you said, I think, is like, if you're going through that right now, and I promise you, every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends. And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, you're doing these free tutorials online to try and figure out how to set up a podcast and where do I host this thing? And then you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now, is that the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm.
Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Say in yourself that no matter what life throws at me, it'll never stop me. No matter how rough it gets, I will never quit. And nothing will ever stop me. Make the decision that you can be tired, you can be worn out, but nothing is ever going to stop you. That's a wonderful decision. Because then no matter what life throws at you, you pick yourself up and you say, okay, give it your best shot, as Fonzie says. Nothing is going to stop you. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It's the basis of self-esteem.
You've got to have maturity. And maturity comes with time, and maturity is not something that you can gin up artificially. It's not something that you can be responsible for not being ginned up artificially. Dwayne, what I have to do? You have to live. You just have to live. You just have to live. You just have to act your age. If you're 26, be 26. Stop trying to be 56. It's not expected, and it's a burden that you don't have to carry.
You have to accept it first before you can go on the journey. A lot of folks never even start the journey, man. They never start the journey because they live in this fake life that who they want to be, they act like they are, but they're not because they haven't fixed all this stuff yet. You got to fix this first before we can start our journey in life. So that's why I have them make this list. You fix these problems, now your journey can begin because you no longer care about how people are judging you. When you care more about how someone's judging you, you're going to stay right there. There's no forward momentum.
This is terrible. And because of this terribleness, I now have something that I can run away from. And then like, rather than not looking at the knife or trying to take painkillers to not feel the pain, it's like completely sobering up, taking the knife and twisting it in your own heart and being like, I'm gonna fucking do something about this. And I think that that's what the heroes, like, if we're heroes in our own story, it's not avoiding pain, it's choosing from the very beginning the alchemy, which is like, you have these terrible situations, it's like, and you have the opportunity to turn them into magic and skip or shortcut all the growth you're going to have in a really short period of time simply by twisting the knife and being like, I'm going to do something about it.
If you try to remember, you will lose. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or creep or drip or crash. Be water, my friend.
The majority of success that I have had have come on the back end of pain. Pain has pushed me to levels unknown for me at the time. All I know that was pain, but on the other side of it, all of a sudden, I became better in an area. So when we go through those situations in our lives, pain helps you develop those things that is going to take you to the next level of whatever it is the Lord has for you. Believe that. I'm a living testimony of that.
Let me tell you about a voice. Not this voice, but the one inside. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not, when to leave and where to go. It's not Shakespeare. It does not speak in memorable lines. My inner voice always gives it to me straight. Sometimes that voice is crystal clear. Go, stay, right, wrong. Sometimes it merely whispers. Don't let it drown in a noisy world. Because in the end, no man, woman, or algorithm knows what's right for you. Always trust your inner voice. Everybody has one. Few listen to it.
This ain't you, bro. This ain't you. You weren't born like this. This ain't you. The real you, bro. Study all you want to, but the second that fucking computer comes on with 150 questions, this ain't you, man. And somehow, comes back, I passed. Passed again, passed again. But that real me back here every time is saying, that ain't you, bro. That ain't you. And I have to outwork that voice. When I'm taking that test and I get to a question I don't fucking know the answer, I'm like, fuck, man. And then says, I told you, man, that ain't you.
The thing they don't tell you is the long way is the shortcut, because the shortcut never gets you there. And so people quit when things get hard because the thought of things being hard forever feels unbearable. But that's a lie, because nothing's hard forever. You either quit, it gets easier, or you get harder. But no matter what, the hard always ends. And the only way you lose is if you quit before seeing it through.
The only thing that ever can give you peace in the world where your sleep is pure is when you give it your all. 110% is left there. Work, in the gym, whatever the endeavor at hand is. You leave it all there. That's the only thing that ever counts for peace in the world. If you don't do that, part of your soul's left there. I mean, if you only give it 60%, part of your soul's left there. And you go to sleep, all you can do is think about it. It's kind of like that expression I always tell you guys, burn the midnight oil now. Otherwise stay awake in the midnight hours wondering what if. It's hard to embark on things. I'm not saying it isn't. Hard to get up and go to work when you're dead tired and you don't want to go. But what's a lot harder is if you don't go to work. You don't try it. And then something happens remarkable you weren't part of. And all you can do is think back and regret, wondering what could have been if I did show up.
It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, way down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again.
You don't get everything, obviously. But maybe you can have what you need. And maybe all you have to do to get it is ask. But the asking isn't a whim or today's wish. It's like you have to be deadly serious about it. You have to think, okay, like I'm taking stock of myself. And if I was going to live properly in the world and I was going to set myself up such that being would justify itself in my estimation, and I don't mean as a harsh judge, exactly what is it that I would aim at?
But I can't go out on the track and do the same old thing. It won't work.
Then change it up. Try something new.
I don't know, Sally.
Don't fear failure. Be afraid of not having the chance. You have the chance. Doc didn't. And you can either take it or you can do what you've been doing, sitting in here for months.
You are not ready.
I know.
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose. To accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying.
If you look at life as it is a trial ground, a testing ground for where you need to belong, where you need to go, suffering is a fact of life. If you look at suffering the right way, it's a great tool to callous your mind. If you look at it as suffering, woe is me, this is bullshit, God, kicking rocks, if you look at it like, okay, Bucker, you're testing me now. I get it. Whenever I'm being like depressed, I go through depressed moments, I go, oh, hang on. I'm getting tested. So you have to be aware of all the signals and signs that are being given to you from the world. One of them is if you feel bad, you're being tested. How are you going to perform under that? And that's suffering is a part of life.
To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life.
In your mind, when you push real hard, you have this door in your mind. And a lot of us don't want to open that door. Once you open that door, you're in a tunnel. It's a dark ass tunnel. And you can't see shit. But there's one thing about being in dark places. If you have the courage to stay in there long enough, your eyes will start to adjust to the darkness. Your body and mind will always adjust to more suffering, to more pain. If you want to push harder, know this. Your mind quits way before your body does. So you have to be willing to go way into that darkness and find more of yourself. Stay hard.
Being a winner is a curse. It doesn't matter how much you've won before. You're not a winner until you win again.
Let's go.
And again. And again. Nothing is enough. No one understands. And you never want it to stop.
I can be a product of my environment, you know what I mean? If I'm in with the wrong crowd, I just kind of become wherever, you know what I mean? So that's why I like to be isolated, and that's why this has helped me coming out here and being locked in an apartment on my own, building back up my leg, going from rehab to home, because there was no outsiders. It was isolation, it was visualization, it was motivation, and it was dedication. There was nothing else going on in my life, you know what I mean?
The percentage of people that get back up after a fall is very small. It's very, very small. Because some people fall and they go, I'm just gonna lay here, because falling hurts, right? Yeah. There's only a couple people that get up and just dust the shit off and go, I'm still gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna walk. And it's not a coincidence why those people win, right? Like, it's not an accident why winners win. Winners win because of persistence.
Yes.
Winners win because of consistency,
Yep.
right? And being diligent about the thing or the choice that they made to do the thing or to be the thing. Like, it's all a choice.
Yeah.
But so many people break along the way. So what I find the most success is just knowing that not many people can continue to get up day after day and do the things that I do. So that's why I'm able to do it and shine in the lows.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of relentlessness to you?
Well, it's to never, to be unyielding.
Never give an inch to anyone.
No, like you're always going after it, always going after it, always going after it. And if there's a challenge that ensues, oh, good, I want to see how I stack up to that. So you go after it. And it's just, it's fun. It's like you get a chance to compete against opponents, and you get a chance to see where you stack up against them. It's like, I want to see. Maybe I'm not good enough today, but that's fine. I'll be good enough the next time I see you, though. You know, and you get a chance to always measure yourself, and it's just fun to do that. So I guess that's where relentlessness comes from.
You actually, by changing the way you think and the way you feel, you're changing the signal in the field. And if you're able to maintain that state for an extended period of time, I say something magical is going to happen in your life. Something unusual, some unknown experience is going to occur. If you keep thinking the same way and feeling the same way, your life should stay the same. So we do 1-minute practices, we do 5-minute practices, we do 30-minute practices. We want to get so good at doing it with our eyes closed that we can do it with our eyes open.
And not trying to paint yourself in a flattering way.
No.
It forces you to continue to perform.
Right.
By exposing all the shit that you used to do, by exposing your procrastination, your slips, your fallings, your falling back down and getting fat again, all that stuff, it forces you to be consistent. Like, you you did it today. You did it today. Do you know you're going to be able to do it tomorrow? Well, you have to. You have to know. You have to know.
An ode to people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned. You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can grip and grasp and fear and it ruin the enjoyment and be totally unwarranted and things still go well. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You can want more for yourself without knowing exactly what that looks like. You can doubt the process, question your talent, be uncertain that you're making progress, disparage your accomplishments, permanently feel like you're not working hard enough no matter how hard you work, never give yourself a break, fail to fully feel gratitude, be terrified of never reaching your goals, and still end up in a place that your 20-year-old self could not imagine you'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence, says Ryan Holiday.
I wasn't really fully committed. Didn't have maybe the wherewithal, the identity to go actually chase it and go, I know what I want. I want to live a way to attract that. I did have time where I tried to go find it. But as I talked about in the book, I had time where I was every red light. Who's over there? Produce section. Who's over there? Every party. Who's over there? Looking for the one. And once I was like, I had that great dream of the 88-year-old bachelor that I was with all the kids showing up. That dream gave me grace, man, because I quit looking for that one. I did start acting like someone, though. My target drew the arrow. I started acting like someone who had a wherewithal and a peace of mind with myself, not needing someone to fulfill, that drew her to me, that I didn't have before that dream.
You've got a life, it's hard, obviously. It's like 3 years from now, you can have what you need. You got to be careful about it. You can't have everything. You can have what would be good for you, but you have to figure out what it is, and then you have to aim at it.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you.
Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dream. Get away from your family members ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. They ain't never been to a beach. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, oh Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes?
My brain can feel a certain way, but it's not gonna choose how I behave all the time. I just can't let it do it anymore. I'm gonna have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. That doesn't mean that I can't still take some action. Because nothing changes if nothing changes, man. We'll sit around forever wondering, well, what if I was a dog catcher? Would I be the best? What if I was
Because I never learned how to aim when the spirit was tame. I couldn't see all the cards in my hand. Well, son, a lot of what your difficulty is right now is you have not yet learned how to aim while the spirit is tame. And you can't see all the cards in your hand. It's not saying the cards aren't there. It's just you haven't matured enough to see them. And there will come a time, you keep going, and you keep learning and you keep growing, that one day you'll look down and the card you needed was there and it's been there all along. But that ain't gonna come for a while. And my encouragement to you is, stop being so hard on yourself.
The eulogy of life. What are they going to say at your death, at your funeral? One of your friends or family members stands up to speak on behalf of the life you lived. What are they going to say? They're going to talk about character. They're going to talk about something of your ability to, while living, that still is alive in other people. What you give them back, the legacy is what I'm talking about. That's what we're building here today. When you're fucking pushing everything else, yes, you have to walk through the muds to get to the higher ground. There is no path to easy street that doesn't go through the fucking sewer. Think of that, guys. As we're going here and you're pushing the pain out, and you're trying to get that wreck, that's where it all matters, man. That eulogy is going to speak volumes, even though you won't be there. It's going to speak volumes on your behalf. That begins today, right now, what we do. This says it all. We stand for something.
Sit on your bed one day and ask yourself, what remarkably stupid things am I doing on a regular basis to absolutely screw up my life? And if you actually ask that question, but you have to want to know the answer, right? Because that's actually what asking the question means. It doesn't mean just mouthing the words. It means you have to decide that you want to know.
What actions I'm willing to take despite the judgment of others. And so a lot of times, and it might be because I have more insecurity than everyone, that I think like, man, I want to do this thing. And then I hear all these other voices of reasons why I shouldn't do it, or why somebody else will say like, that's bad, or you're bad, or like, that's wrong, whatever. And so I think I've had to come up with a lot of these devices to get around my own insecurities, to take action despite those insecurities. And the biggest one that I think about is that it doesn't matter whether I achieve all of my goals or I don't achieve all of the goals. In 3 generations, I'll be forgotten, and the only people who were naysaying against me will also be dead. And so then it's like, just do it for me. And then when I wake up every day, there's only one voice I have to listen to.
As soon as you look back in your history and you come up with something that you feel like you want to change, something else has to change. You know, so
what about your biggest disappointment?
Once again, that's the same analogy. You know, disappointment to me, to win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful. To be happy, you got to have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am, and understand the benefits and the privileges I have for being who I am, you know.
Do you think time gives a fuck that it's Christmas, that it's New Year's, that it's your birthday? You give yourself too many fucking options. Let me tell you one thing, time is running out. You keep on sitting around wondering what the fuck you want to do, you're just gonna run out of time. So make sure you do one thing, stop following the fucking crowd. They may take time off, but you can't afford to. Stay hard.
Consistency, 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 man. That's the name of the game, bro. Don't get much simpler than that. If you keep going every single day and don't stop, your competition will fall off, bro. These niggas ain't cut like you, bro. They ain't ready for prime time. They ain't trying to really get right. They take days off, this day off, that day off. They lazy. I'm tired. No. Grind every day, one foot in front of the other, bro. And I promise you, you're gonna be lapping these folks, bro. Give it a year. Watch what happens. Bro, yesterday you said tomorrow, and now we here, you still ain't do it. All this pushing stuff back ain't getting you nowhere but further away from your goals, bro. And if you want to be a sorry ass if you want to be sorry, bro, live a life full of averageness, keep doing what you're doing.
They all wanted rings, but they also had obligations. They weren't willing to cut it all off. See, it's not just about going to the court, shooting, dribbling, practicing the same move again and again. No. Lack of skill is from a lack of mind on and off the court. From a little boy sitting on the ball in the park to a grizzled veteran on his last legs, it's been a mission from day one. To impart what I know so you can better understand yourself. I'm here because the game needed me as much as I needed it.
There are a body of people in this country who avoid challenge, stay below the line, don't take any responsibility, work for somebody else, live in somebody else's property. And they don't risk the challenge, but the people I work with step over the line every day and face challenge. They can fail, they can be embarrassed, they can get hurt. So that challenge industry extends across business, education and sport and life.